badass boys and badass babes. It's your favorite bad girl with black heels, Virgo the Vixen. Before we start today's life lesson, I just want to say thank you. Why am I saying thank you? Earlier this week, we had Memorial Day. And for all those of you who are currently serving to protect this great nation of ours, thank you. To those of you who have served, thank you for your sacrifice. And of course, to the fallen, the ones who can't be here with us for whatever reason, thank you for your service. Thank you for your great sacrifice. So people like me can do social satire videos. So to our men and women in the armed forces, thank you for continuing to protect this great nation of ours. Now that I got that out of the way, today I want to talk to you about a story about love, true love, romance, and how can we say this politely, just the awe and inspired feelings it brings. Who the hell are we shitting? This is the Vixen. Today, we are not going to be reviewing a Jane Austen novel. This is not no Jane Austen novel where we're going to be talking about sitting around with a cup of tea talking about some BS lame bullshit. Today, we are going to be talking about what happens when Murphy's Law meets a wedding. All right, for the record, for those of you who know me, weddings to me are nothing more than funerals with cake. I do not like them. I think it's all too ritualized. I think that's the reason why we have too many bridezillas. Whatever you want to say, you can pretty much, I will be the one who will say, I don't like weddings. Anyways, several weeks ago, a good friend of mine calls me up and says, Vixen, you need to come to me. You need to come to me right now. And I go, why? Just get over here, she says. It's like, okay, fine. Yeah, can I talk to you on the phone? She says, no, come to me at my house now. So I dropped whatever I was doing. I can't remember. It wasn't that important. So I go over to her house. She's already got some snack tray. She's got some tea. And she is trying to tell me. She's trying to butter me up, okay? I know how my friend is. And so here's what was happening. I walk in. I see the hors d'oeuvres, I see the tea, and I know this woman, I know she wants something from me, and I go, the answer is no. Before we even start, I say, hell no, no way. And she goes, just hear me out. And I go, no, I'm not going to hear you out. You want something from me. That's the only reason why you got my favorite hors d'oeuvres, and I can only imagine what's in the tea, but either way, no. She goes, please, just sit down. I'll pay you for your time. And you don't have to take your clothes off. Okay, to be fair, that's words I don't usually hear very often. But she did pay me for my time. And I kept my clothes on. I don't know, maybe I'm losing my touch. Anyways, she's telling me about a wedding that's going to be happening on Memorial Day weekend. And she says, you need to come with me. And I go, why? It's a wedding. I've seen them before. I've seen them, I've seen one. I've seen them all. Why do you need me to come? And she says, you need to come to this wedding with me. And so I'm kind of detecting there's something she wants to tell me, but she can't tell me. And so I'm still saying, hey, look, I got better things to do on that weekend. She goes, look, I will pay you to be my plus one. Again, this is a situation I'm not normally, I don't know what to say. I'm being paid to keep my clothes on. I said, okay, fine. She gives me $200. She said, $200 more when we get done with the wedding. Now, I'm thinking to myself in my head, she's going to pay me $400 to go to this wedding. I'm thinking it's going to be the worst thing on the planet. Because she put 200 up front and 200 down, and it's like, oh my God, okay. So after I get done agreeing to this menagerie, I was like, okay, what is going on? What could be so bad that she needs me to be her plus one at this wedding? All right. So I kind of forget about it, and then, the day of the wedding comes, so I get ready. Nothing, how can we say, illicit, just, something simple, basic, that's church, semi-appropriate, but it works, all right? At least I didn't wear white this time. That's another video, okay? I made the mistake of wearing white on a wedding day. All right, I'll be the first to admit that was bad on my part. That's another video, okay? We'll skip that. So my friend and me, we're sitting off to like on the let me see, the bride side, because it was her niece that was getting married. And I'm looking around, it's like, okay, average people. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, why does she want me here? And my friend pokes me right here on the side near my boob area. And we're making small talk, and it's like, why do you want me here? It looks like an average wedding. What's going on? Why do you want me here? And she goes, just wait for it, all right? So what happens is, the music starts playing. It's not the wedding march, it's a little intro music. It's something kind of churchy. Here come the flower girls, the ring bearer. Then comes, like I said, you got like the couples. You got one of the bridesmaids, groomsmen. They come down. There's three of them. Then you have the maid of honor and the best man. They come down. The groom's already standing there, and it's time for us to stand up. And instead of the traditional wedding theme, they're playing something by Garth Brooks. What song? I couldn't tell you. To me, all Garth Brooks music sounds the same. Okay, that's just my opinion. I know it's not a good one, but that's just my opinion. And as she's walking down the aisle, you know what? I gotta give her credit. She looked great. I mean, she had a strapless white dress. She looked good. She wasn't pouring out of it. Everything was nice. And so was the two prison guards following right behind her. I just want to stop the story for a moment, because if there was something playing in the music background, this would be where the needle goes off the record. Did I just say two prison guards? Yes. Her niece is doing time for her 4th DUI in prison. Okay, you heard me. The 4th time she is in prison, and she is getting married because she got special dispensation or some kind of special permission from the warden. Why were there 2 guards, armed guards with shotguns? I don't know. I consider that standard procedure. When I saw this, okay, now I understand why my friend wants me here. Because I cannot make this up. One of the groomsmen had a broken arm. His arm is in a sling. And there is a can right here. All right, where the kind of like the L here of the elbow area, there is a can of beer. Now, I talked to this guy later on, and he told me why he had that beer can there. That's going to play an important role. Don't worry, I'll tell that at the reception. But apparently, the coldness of the beer felt good on his arm, so that's why he had it there. So, one guard goes to one side, one guard goes to the other. I mean, it's like they rehearsed it. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did, but they have it over here, they have it over there. And for the record, this took place not at a prison, but just an average church. Nothing fancy, nothing spectacular, just an average church. All right. And so this pastor, he's, going off the sermon about how they're in love, blah, blah, blah. This is kind of the part where I start to black out. And my friend kind of pokes me, and she goes, well, what do you think of the wedding so far? Me being me, I was quiet on this one. Surprisingly quiet, but here's what I do. I look over, I go, let's start with the bridesmaids. Okay, the first one, okay, there's 3 bridesmaids, one maid of honor. I go, first bridesmaid looks like she's pregnant. Second one looks like she just wants to get married. The third one already has her panties removed and is just waiting for some guy to buy her a drink. And the let's just say the maid of honor, she's already eyeing up and down some of the guys over here. And then I go, over here on the other side, we'll start with the best man. Let me see here. I'll wait for him. We'll start with the groomsmen. Okay, let's see here. Never going to get laid. Never going to have it. Let me see here. Looks like he's just trolling for some piece of ass. The one over here is married. And the best man, I go, well, for his sake, I hope he's not like his father, because his father, let's face it, how do I want to put this in a delicate situation? Popcorn lasted longer in the microwave than that man, so for his sake, I hope he lasts longer. My friend turned white as a ghost and looked at me like, "You can't say these things in church." And I go, "Well, at least I didn't yell it." I spoke to her very quietly. The people around us were looking at us like, "What the hell are you? What's your problem?" Anyway, so they get through the marriage. And I would love to tell you that nothing happened as the bride is walking down the aisle. I would love to tell you that, but no, this is Murphy's Law meets a wedding, so anything goes. All right? So, as they're walking down the aisle, unfortunately for her, she breaks a heel, trips over, and takes out the mother-in-law who is sitting in the second row. You heard me. It was a good, clean tackle. Any NFL coach would think, hey, this is great. So everyone's getting their laugh. Now, I would love to tell you, this is where it ends. But no, this is where it only starts. Now we go to the reception, where Murphy's Law has decided, you know what? I am going to participate in any and every activity I can. All right, so we're, sitting down at the quote-unquote all-you-can-eat Sloppy Joe and Cheetos buffet. All right, that's what they had for a meal. Sloppy Joes and Cheetos. So, and for the record, they had different flavors of Cheetos. Some were hot, some were extra cheesy. You got your choice. What can I say? They were the trailer park sophistication of weddings. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, yes, I said trailer park sophistication because you know how normally wine comes in a bottle? Apparently, these people have decided to skip that, and they go with the juice box. Not kidding you. It was a juice box with wine. Apparently, we have to have, I don't know what to call it, other than low trash, low brow. Maybe that's all they could afford. But still, you could afford at least a bottle, at least have someone pour the wine into a glass instead of a juice box. But what the hell? What do I know? I've only been to enough of these. That make me sick. All right, so, again, I would love to tell you that's the end, but nope. And now Murphy's Law is dialing up the crank because here we go. The matron of honor, the maid of honor, when it was her time to give her speech. I'm going to tell you what. Maybe she had a little bit of champagne or wine or whatever she was drinking that day. She had a little bit too much before the wedding went off. At the reception, she decided, hey, it's free. Hey, she had 2 or 3 juice boxes. And when it was her turn to speak, all right, she lost her, how can I say this? She lost her speech. She thought she put it down her bra. So here she is, digging around in the boob and into the girls' area. And we're all kind of getting a good view of what's actually there and how much padding she actually has. And then finally she gives up and she starts just winging it. Now, normally I would say this is not a bad idea. But since you're drunk and you're trying to wing it, things aren't going well because she starts spilling some secrets about her and her friend and their, their more youthful days, about some of the things that the prison guards are taking notice of. Apparently, you can still be convicted for past crimes that still have the statute of limitations. Just keep that in mind. So the guards are taking notice of what the bridesmaid is saying. The bride is trying to get her friend to shut up and get her off the stage. Not to be outdone by the stupidity of the maid of honor. Now here comes the best man. And I gotta tell you, you know what? If the bride, if she could kill by looking at somebody, he would have been dead. Okay, the best man would have been dead on the floor because the bride was seeing red after his little speech, and he is hyping his friend up. He is telling the world how good he is. How he's a great guy. He's a great husband, great supporter, loves her 3 illegitimate kids, and how he's taken her into his heart just to show what of a great guy he is. He has stood behind her, her third, she had a third one he stood behind, and 4th DUI. So he says, this man's a saint, you know what? And he just went on like that for approximately 15, 20 minutes. If he would have just shut up after 5, I think the bride wouldn't have wanted to kill him. But you can see the intensity of hate in her eyes. And God, I want to tell you, that was the final straw. All right. Now, do you remember the beer can that I said was right here? Well, guess what? That beer can was getting kind of warm. So what does he do? He sets it down. All right. And replaces it with a colder one right there. Because God knows you got to feel good right here. I want you to focus in on that beer can, okay? It's warm. It's been sitting there for a while. So, and for the most of us, no one wants to drink a warm beer. So what does he do? Yeah, he just tosses it in the trash. Or so I thought. All right? I thought, he picked it up, maybe just put it in the trash. No. He gave it to one of the younger teenagers. You heard me. We got underage drinking at a wedding. That was his younger brother. He said, you know what, hell, you can't waste a beer, apparently. So he gives it to his younger brother, and this is where things really spiral out of control. Because now we have a drunk 13-year-old out on the floor, trying to dance and puking everywhere. Basically, the day is pretty much now ruined. And here I am. I'm just sitting back. I am watching this menagerie. I am watching this 13-year-old boy trying to bust a move. Instead, he busts his lunch out everywhere. And the bride has had enough. This is it. She has had enough. And so she jumps on her husband and starts physically assaulting him. Not with the flowers. No. We can't do that. She is close fisting him, punching him in the face in front of the, prison guards. Again, I would love to tell you this is where the story stops, but oh no. When one person starts a fight, I guess it's time for everyone to start a fight. Because the mother-in-law sees her son getting whooped the hell out of, and so she tackles and starts bitch slapping the bride in front of everybody, which at this point, the term ballroom blitz is in order, and they have to call the police who were already there. It's kind of funny when here is the final report, and I'm not in any of it, okay? I was sitting back with my friend, and I'm looking at her going, you can keep I handed her money back. Again, this is something I'm not used to. I'm actually giving her money back because it was worth the money. I don't usually, hey, someone gives me money, I don't give it back, but in this case, it's like, here's the 200 you gave to me. I'll keep the other 200. It was worth it. All right, final result. 4 people, including the groom, had to go to the hospital for minor injuries. 6 people were arrested that night, including the schmuck who had the beer can here. Apparently, you can't give beer to a 13-year-old in this state because that's considered, supplying a minor. So his ass went with them. There was $10,000 worth of damage done to the reception hall and the furniture inside. And needless to say, the bride is now not going to get out anytime soon. She was out for good behavior in the next 4 months, but I think we might be tacking on about 4 more years for assault. Well, anyways, my badass boys and badass babes, I know this video has been a little bit long, so let's recap. When Murphy's Law gets into a wedding, everything goes. So, what's today's moral of the life lesson? I guess that if you can go to a wedding and just sit in the corner and watch the melee and, the menagerie of someone else's special day go down the tube, it's worth $200. Well, anyways, my badass boys and badass babes, who's your vixen? Bye-bye.